Hey, hi, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to the third episode of Psych Student Reacts. I hope you guys enjoyed the premiere 2 weeks ago. Hopefully, by the time that these videos are officially posted, well, like the first two already are. I have remembered to label the episode titles in the titles or the episode number in the titles. So hopefully that's aligned now. But now we're here in episode 3. This week, the topic that I have decided to cover is psychology facts. And yeah, I'll try to explain or, put things into easier to understand terms. So yeah, let's get started. Well, I should probably turn my volume. Yeah, we'll see. So we'll have to go through this one step by step because I thought I was going to be talking to it. By the way, I'm looking at my tablet, doing this because streaming. Anyways, so this says psychology facts: if someone looks at you while they are laughing at you, or while they are laughing, they are attracted to you. I don't know, if these are really really grounded in psychology. These are kind of brain teasers in a way. I don't necessarily think okay, every single person who looks at you, if they're laughing while they're looking at you, I don't think that it means that they're attracted to you. I don't know what the psychological basis is for that, but I don't think that that's the case. Your school years are either the best or worst years of your life. Again, don't really think that's a psychological fact. Because I had some really good times, some pretty. If I were to rate high school, I would have to say that was pretty good. Wasn't the best years of my life, but it also wasn't the worst. And then currently, I mean, I'm basically still in school, so I'm not really sure where we're at. Technically I'm in college, but I'm a full-grown adult in college. I'm pursuing graduate degrees and postgraduate degrees. So I mean, I guess maybe it's the worst and or best, but again, I don't know what type of psychological evidence there is to support that exactly. Anyways, sorry, excuse me, I have a cold and it is not the best. Okay. This also says, when two people that love each other stare into each other's eyes, their heartbeats sync. I think that's just natural biorhythms in human nature, to be honest, because okay, whenever you take in certain types of versions of couples therapy, and there's physical types of therapy that help you get really close to your partner, or a lot closer to your partner. There's certain exercises that help, that you put your bodies together and you just breathe and be with each other, and that literally will sync up your heart rates with each other. Again, I don't know what psychological evidence there is behind that. However, there is biological evidence behind that. That's just how it works. Again, though, I'm not really sure about psychology, because it's also the same thing can be applied to a newborn and a newborn's mother. that's one of the reasons why like skin to skin contact is such a huge deal whenever it comes to having your newborn lay on your chest or on your stomach or whatever directly after giving birth, because it's supposed to increase basically like the APGAR score. It's supposed to help them breathe better, or heartbeats faster or stronger. The body heat from the mother, like the natural body heat, will also make sure that their temperature gets regulated and acclimated to being outside the womb. So again, not really sure about the psychology, like basis, like evidence underneath it, but this one says, if you can't stop thinking about that one person, it's because they are thinking of you. That doesn't have anything to do with psychology. If anything, that has to do with like spirituality. I mean, if you're on the same wavelength, if you believe that, we all, I mean, I know I might get some hate. Just, it really depends on like what side of the spectrum you are on whenever you're considering your, like how you connect with other people. Do you believe in like having like a spiritual connection with somebody? Do you believe that we all travel on different frequencies? And so sometimes there's people who are high vibrations and sometimes there's people who are low vibration, and you can feel the difference between these two types of people. If you're one of those types of people that believe in that, then yeah, like that makes sense. But like if you're a person who doesn't necessarily believe that even matters, then it's just coincidence. It's purely coincidence. It's like angel numbers. Like if you're spiritual, then you believe that angel numbers are angels giving you specific messages. However, but if you're not spiritual in that sort of way, then you look at angel numbers and just shake your head and roll your eyes because you say it's a coincidence. But I'm not saying that either one of those is wrong, because then we're getting into the topic of religion. So with this statement of, if you can't stop thinking about that one person, it's because they're thinking of you, there's no psychological basis to that. This other one says, see who has blocked you, share other blocked. That's just toxic thinking. This person is trying to be like psychology facts. No, these are not psychology facts. This is toxicity. Now you're traveling along the lines of toxicity. Anyways, what you doing? I literally give life advice out in my videos you need to follow. Don't follow this person. Don't follow the advice that they're giving, because I don't even think they understand what psychology is. Anyways, moving on. Oh, I have the sound off.
That video. They said, when you dream of someone, that person either misses you or wants to see you, which is cute, but it's not even close to the actual meaning. My name is Jesse Lyon. I'm a professional dream interpreter, and this is what it actually means. That person symbolizes a part of yourself that you need to connect with more deeply, or it represents some unresolved baggage that you've been carrying around. If you want to learn the real science of what your dreams mean, just tap follow. Hi, friend. Let me save you some time and get to the bullshit.
Okay. So this person might actually know what they're talking about. I haven't checked out their content. I haven't checked out their page, so I'm not actually sure if they know what they're talking about. Again, a lot of times dreams and dream meanings, they don't have to necessarily be a like blanket meaning that you can use that across all situations or across all people with the same situation. But I don't necessarily think that that's the case, because I truly believe that whenever we, and here we go, kind of, this is exposing me just a little bit, but this is just how I believe, because it makes a lot of sense to me. That our dream, like the dream world, is almost like another dimension. And we sometimes receive and understand messages differently in this dimension. Why do you think that sometimes you can't really remember your dreams, and in other times you can really remember your dreams? I think that's because those times that you really remember those dreams is because something was shown to you that has a lot of significance to you, and so you remember that. But sometimes we don't really pay all that much attention to our dreams. Sometimes there's certain things that people are trying to show us in our dreams But we just don't remember it because we don't think of it as that important in that moment, or we weren't able to find that real connection to that in that moment. But have you also had a reoccurring dream? Have you had deja vu? Because those are also instances that can also explain certain things like that. Now, to actually preface or to actually acknowledge with the beginning of the video, when you have a dream about somebody, doesn't necessarily mean anything in particular. It could be something about that person. It could be something related to that person. Is that person going through something specifically that's probably going to impact their life? Or is that person going to do something that's going to impact your life? So you really have to pay attention to the specific details. Again, this doesn't really have anything to do with psychology per se, but if you really want to link the meaning of dreams into psychology, because I will admit that yes, whenever you think about the way that our brains process information and the way that our brains actually retain information and recall our memories, then yeah, there could be like subliminal messaging that your brain is trying to help you remember. If you're dreaming about a specific person, it might not mean that that has anything to do with that other person trying to do something. It can just mean that you have specific feelings towards this person, or you're beginning to cross the line of infatuation, or you're falling in love with them, or you have a level of hatred for them. That could be why you're constantly dreaming of a specific person. And on a psychological, if you want to think of it on a psychological, like field, plane, whatever, like that's more logical than anything that I said at the beginning of talking about this TikTok. So let's move on.
This is a warning that this will hurt. The reason you talk a lot and overshare is because there was no one to listen to you when you were a child. This is a warning that this will...
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I struggled with this a lot. If you guys think that I overshare now, be glad y'all didn't know me 10 years ago. Because no, really, I used to struggle. I used to think that I was very professional whenever I was like 18, 19 years old. I used to think I was super professional, okay? Like for being 18, 19 years old, like I thought I was the shit. No, that wasn't the case. However, after coming to realizing my own trauma, my own childhood, my own mental health and mental illness, and la da 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 da, it makes sense. And I was able to learn how to behave properly, I guess you could say. I don't like to use terms like that, but I learned, how to better portray myself, how to better articulate myself. And I learned to keep a lot more things private, because not everybody deserves to know every single detail about my life. Like I used to be one of those people that used to overshare on social media all the time. I used to use Facebook as basically my diary. And now I go through my memories on Facebook, deleting things that I'm like, why did I post that? Like, that is ridiculous. I'm going to delete that. But I think that it's interesting for us to acknowledge those parts of ourselves, because that tells you a lot about your inner child. That tells you a lot about your inner being and where you came from. Yeah, you probably weren't listened to a lot. Probably because you didn't feel safe enough anyways to really put yourself out there and be like, hey, listen to me. Or not even just that. Like people just probably didn't give you that much acknowledgement for the things that you had to say. And I know for me personally that is a true psychological fact. Like that does make a lot of sense, because I used to be like a completely oversharing type of person. And I still, in a way, overshare, but I overshare in a way that's warranted. Like when people actually ask for it, that's most of the time whenever I'm sharing. Okay, so I think that this person is the same one as like the first video. So let's just kind of go through these one by one. People who prefer window seats, like traveling alone. Again, I don't know how psychologically true that is. I like window seats and I do like traveling alone, but I like traveling alone if I'm flying. If I'm flying or even taking a train, I like being alone. But if I'm driving, oh yeah, no, I need a partner. I need a partner up. But aside from that, yeah. I mean that's a correlation maybe. I don't know if that's actually true. Like I would say that yeah, like I prefer sitting next to a window and I prefer traveling alone. But don't know I don't know, like the explanation behind that. Lonely people take the longest and hottest baths to replace their missing inner warmth. I think, like I've heard specific people, or I've heard people talking about that. It's all jokes and fun and games. Whenever I hear people talking or using this specific scenario, like women like to take lava hot showers because it reminds them of home. LOL. Yeah. No. I don't know about the psychological evidence behind that. I don't think that that's the case. I think just naturally some people are warm-blooded or cold-blooded. I have moments where I'm like, yeah, I need my water to be super hot, but then there's other moments where I'm like, nope, no, I just want some nice lukewarm water. So I don't know. The smarter you are, the bigger your hate and disgust of people increases and your communication decreases. I don't know. I used to not really consider myself to be that smart, but upon especially my performance in school now, even as an adult, like I'm confident that I'm fairly intelligent. I will say that the longer that I study psychology, the more that I feel safer just staying home. And like I'm also super involved in other projects outside of psychology, but still very relevant and related. And I will say that I wouldn't say that it increases the hate and disgust of people, but it definitely creates a different understanding of people. Whenever you start to understand how different people have become the way that they are and how you can fix that, and then it's not those people that that develop, or what I'm trying to find the word. It's not against the people who are struggling, but it's against the people who are struggling but choose not to believe in science. People who are struggling but choose not to put forth the effort to actually get better. And it's like, why would you choose to stay stuck in a situation that's not doing anything for you whenever you can have control over your life and create a better situation? I don't understand. Anyways, talking to yourself can increase your intelligence. I don't know. I've heard that geniuses usually talk to themselves. Like that's something that I've heard. Again, I don't really, surely there are like actual explanations to this, and maybe that I can make that into a new series whenever I complete this series. But again, I'm not exactly sure. If anyone is actually interested in me doing like finding empirical evidence about things, totally let me know, because I'm always looking for new different types of series that I can do. And then the last one, 99% of people can't type something with their left hand with their eyes shut. And I think that is just clickbait in a way, like to get more reach and engagement. So I'm not even going to try to explain that one.
10 facts about overthinkers. When they are sorry, they are really sorry and hope you accept the apology. They can't sleep at night if they make the wrong choice. Doesn't matter the choice. Every choice is important to them. They're not insecure control freaks. They just think a lot. They can't let anything go, because if they understand it better, they can change the outcome. They have high expectations. They are very hard on themselves and expect a lot from others. They are indecisive, but once they decide, you can't change their mind. It's really difficult for them to live in the moment. They always worry about what's going to happen next. They always try to be on time and prepared, and usually have more than one alarm set. Overthinking doesn't make them crazy. They just think more than the average person. They know relationships can be challenging, as they put added meaning behind everything said to them. 10 facts about overthinking.
Yeah, I mean, again, psychology, like these types of things usually happen, and they're usually symptomatic of some sort of mental illness, or they're usually symptoms of some sort of mental illness. And so usually overthinking can mean a multitude of different things. These are generally symptoms that line up with specific mental illnesses. So overthinking can mean a few different things. For instance, the first example.
When they are sorry, they are really sorry and hope you accept the apology.
When they're sorry, they're really sorry and they hope that you accept the apology. Overthinkers, because it's like most of the time, overthinkers, they're already thinking, they've thought about everything that they were going to say and the potential outcomes of the reactions from what they say. And then if they say something that upsets you, like they genuinely did not mean to upset you, because they thought about it and they thought that it was going to be, they weighed it in their mind that it was best to say this than to keep it quiet. But there's other things, obviously, that can also play a part into that. Like if the other person doesn't believe that person, what's the reason why they don't want to accept that apology? Because there's other things that could be a factor, especially if there's patterns of lies or patterns of disrespect. Sometimes that can signify other types of issues, such as like narcissism, or even like borderline. We're talking about like cluster B personality disorders at that point. But yeah, I mean, overthinking has a lot of different aspects to it. Second,
they can't sleep at night if they make the wrong choice.
Can't sleep at night if you make the wrong choice, because you're constantly thinking about, well, what if I chose this other thing? How would that have turned out? This type of thinking, this type of situation is very common along anxiety disorders. And there's different types of anxiety disorders, but like this can even happen with trauma-related disorders, like post-traumatic stress disorder or even acute stress disorder. So it just really depends on the culprit or the cause. Wait, why can't you sleep at night? What kind of choices are you thinking about? What decision or choice have you made? And like, why is this bothering you? You have to kind of break that down to actually kind of understand the root of the issue and how you can overcome it. But let's go ahead and just move on to a new video. I don't know. I don't like these types of videos just because, like, attractiveness, it's so much more than something that's physical. And there's so many different concepts to attraction, because some people are really attracted to physical beauty and other people aren't very attracted to physical beauty. Some people are very attracted to things that are deeper than skin deep. You know, considering like personalities, because somebody can be the most beautiful person in the world or most physically attractive person in the world subjectively or objectively, but how are they inside? What type of behaviors? How do they treat other people? That's what I'm curious about. That's what I want to know, is like, how are you going to treat certain situations when you come across them? Are you going to treat somebody differently because they struggle with addiction, even though you also struggled with addiction. Because then because I don't do hypocrisy, and that's a little bothersome. Like, why? Let's try to figure out how we can actually act right, because that's what's going to matter, like, is your personality in the end. Anyways, physical attraction, don't really like types of TikToks that are like, oh, well, this is 4 signs that you're an attractive person. Again, I don't know if they're actually psychology facts, but I mean, I guess it makes sense whenever you like compile all of the different types of behaviors that people do whenever they look at somebody that they find attractive. But I'm pretty sure that there's lacking empirical evidence to support those statements, to be honest. But I could be wrong. Please correct me if you know the answer and I am wrong.
Psychology facts. Your height is generally determined by your father, while intelligence, emotional strength, and body shape is determined by your mother. Around 90% of people will fake laugh when they don't understand what someone said to them. Travel boosts brain health and also decreases a person's risk of heart attack and depression. Opposites don't attract, so you're more likely to be attracted to someone who looks and thinks the same way you do. Studies say 80% of men look at women's breasts when they meet them the first time. The lack of mental health education in school is shocking. It seems young people only learn about mental health after suffering from it themselves. Women generally like light and frequent kisses, while men like it more vigorous.
Okay, so there's a few things here. So definitely, though, there's a part in there that they say that like focusing, like proper mental health and everything helps cut like cardiac disease and cardiovascular disease like in half or whatever. That's true. Because your mental health and your physical health work hand in hand together. I've said this in quite a few different of like my personal workshops that I've put together, and even in a few of my previous videos that I've done before. Your mental and your physical health work together. And there's, your brain literally controls everything else that your body does. And then you have parts of your body that are really important to help make sure that you're supporting your brain health. Like your gut health. Your gut health is directly related to your mental health because of the way that our bodies digest things. There's certain foods and certain liquids and certain vitamins and minerals and medications that digest a lot differently whenever it hits our stomach, or even not even just our stomach, but if it goes through our liver and then it goes through our stomach and then it goes through our intestines. And each of these processes creates different types of metabolism, different types of digestion. Things break down differently. There are certain enzymes in your liver and in your stomach and in your intestines that break down different medications in different ways. That's why there's certain types of medications that you're not supposed to drink with grapefruit juice, because it activates those enzymes and it's going to break it down either really slow or really fast. And if you break it down and if you do things a little too fast or too slow, then you can start noticing some side effects that aren't that enjoyable, like nausea or vomiting or diarrhea or so on and so forth. So like there's a lot of different reasons why like everything that's in your body is connected in some way. There was something that my biology teacher taught me back all the way in my 10th grade biology class, and I will always remember him saying this. Hey everyone, sorry so much for that weird little cut. My power went off or flickered. So thank you for bearing with me and sticking around. But yeah, so we're gonna move forward, and we're gonna act like that little interruption didn't happen, and there was no way that I was about to re-record basically 25 minutes of content. So here we go. Yeah.
Here's a psychological trick that you won't believe until you've actually tried it. If you're trying to get the truth out of someone, the best way to do that is to get them talking. And with this simple trick, you'll have them telling you everything. All you have to do is when they are telling you something, repeat their last word in a sincere tone. Here's an example. If your girlfriend or boyfriend said, "Oh, we just had a few drinks," you respond by saying, "Drinks?" So by asking with that sincere tone or nice tone, they're going to open up even further. They'll say something like, "Yeah, I mean, he was being nice and it wasn't anything like that. He just wanted to be nice." You would say, "Be nice." Try it and let me know in the comment section how it goes. Here's a psychological...
I don't know how I feel about this in a professional sense, like to advise people to do this, because depending on who you're dealing with and the type of ways that other people might communicate with this, it can go so many different directions. And I like to play things as safely as possible. So I'm going to say something. I'm going to say that if you decide to try this and you're in a relationship that you probably don't feel the safest in, I probably wouldn't try it. No. Especially even if you are the one who is being questioned, especially then. I wouldn't even know, because then it just opens up the door to so much more potential, like danger potential. And we don't need that. We are in 2023 and we want to be safe and take care of ourselves and our lives. So, however, if you are like this creator is trying to say, if you are trying to make a point and you're trying to catch somebody in a lie, so then that way you can go ahead and end things, don't just do it just to be toxic. Like, if as soon as you figure out that this person's lying and you call them out on it and then they admit that they lied, just leave it as it is. Pack your stuff and go. Like, don't try to push it any further. Just from everything that I've seen, the years of experience that I've seen with my own experience and noticing other people's experiences, don't waste your time. It's just going to escalate. It's going to get worse. Respect yourself, respect your life, respect your privacy, and respect your freedom, and just leave. Because it's not worth anything else that could possibly happen. So, yeah. Just be safe. If you're going to don't take relationship advice from TikTok necessarily. Talk it over with somebody. Just so you can have some sort of voice of reason. Be like, yeah, no, that's a good idea. Like, you should consider that. Or don't do that because that just seems petty. This is almost on the line of petty. So be careful with what you do with this type of information. Anyways, with that being said, that is the end of episode 3. And I appreciate everybody for stopping in. Make sure you drop a like, hit subscribe, and hit the bell so that we are notified every time a new episode drops. And make sure to share this with your friends or your family or anybody who might find it interesting or anything. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, always my comments are open. I look forward to comments. And yeah. Stay tuned for episode 4, and thank you for watching. Bye!